From massive animals to strange plant-like figures and long stretches of straight lines, hundreds of mysterious designs cover the arid landscape of the Peruvian desert, stretching more than 130 miles across the coastal plain. These enigmatic markings, known as the Nazca Lines, are home to some of the world's oldest and largest geoglyphs. But what exactly are the Nazca Lines? And what secrets did they hold 1,500 years ago when they were first created? Join us as we explore this week's big question. What in the world are the Nazca Lines? Welcome to ClarityBlink, where the Earth itself tells its secrets. When the Spanish conquistadors arrived in the 16th century, the Nazca geoglyphs were already hundreds of years old. Created by the indigenous Nazca people, these enormous markings blanket the arid landscape around the town of Nazca in southern Peru. To the Spanish, who had come in search of gold and godless riches, the lines held no apparent value and they offered no obvious explanation for their existence. Instead, they named the region Los Nazca, meaning the tattooed ones, because the local people had covered their bodies with elaborate tattoos. Thus, the lines became known as the Nazca Lines. Today, the lines have been recognized as one of the world's most extraordinary archaeological sites, attracting thousands of tourists each year. But despite their fame, the truth behind the Nazca Lines remains a mystery. How are they made? What do they mean? And how did they survive for so long without being destroyed by wind, rain, or human development? The Nazca Lines comprise more than 1,200 individual designs, including more than 300 geometric figures, 50 human figures, and 190 animal figures. Among the most famous are a hummingbird, a monkey holding a banana, a spider, a condor, a dog, and a parrot. Some of the lines depict fantastic creatures that seem almost alien-like, such as the so-called astronaut, which shows a hunched figure wearing what appears to be a spacesuit. But while the images are striking, the true scale of the Nazca Lines can only be appreciated from the sky. From the ground, it's hard to see anything but lines, a jumble of lines covering the desert floor. It wasn't until a small plane flew overhead that someone noticed the intricate designs hidden within them. Today, the best way to experience the Nazca Lines is by taking a short flight over the desert or soaring high above in a hot air balloon. Archaeologists believe the Nazca people started making the lines around the year 500 CE and continued adding to them for several centuries. At the time, the Nazca people were at the height of their cultural influence. They had developed an advanced irrigation system that allowed them to thrive in the desert, and they had established a complex society with a powerful elite class. The Nazca also excelled at weaving, pottery, and metalwork, and they developed a unique style of body tattoo. But with all these accomplishments, there was still plenty the Nazca didn't understand. Living in a pre-scientific world, the Nazca were deeply superstitious and believed the earth was inhabited by a multitude of spirits, gods, and monsters. Their worldview was shaped by the forces of nature, and they lived in constant fear of earthquakes, floods, and droughts. This is likely why the Nazca made offerings to the gods, hoping to win their favor and avoid catastrophe. And it may have been this desire to appease the gods that led them to create the Nazca Lines. Some scholars think the lines were meant to honor the gods, while others believe they served as a calendar to track astronomical events such as solstices and equinoxes. Others believe the lines were part of a vast road system that connected the Nazca people to other settlements across South America. Still, others have taken a more speculative approach, suggesting the lines were landing strips for ancient visitors from another planet. These extraterrestrial visitors, according to theorists, included the astronaut depicted in the Nazca. Of course, there is no real evidence to support any of these theories, and many archaeologists remain skeptical. There is also speculation that the lines were part of a ritual burial site, or that they played a role in religious ceremonies. It's even possible that the lines had multiple purposes and served both religious and astronomical functions. What we do know is that the Nazca people used simple tools such as sticks and stones to create these works of art. They would have marked out the basic shape of the design, then painstakingly removed the rocks and dirt inside the lines to make them stand out against the background. Creating the Nazca Lines required a huge investment of time and energy. Each line could take weeks or even months to complete, and the entire collection may have taken several generations to finish. Despite the incredible effort involved, The Nazca people managed to keep their creations hidden for centuries. That's because the designs were camouflaged to blend in with the natural landscape. The Nazca chose locations where the color and texture of the ground matched the image they wanted to create. For example, the dark gray lines of the monkey holding a banana were traced along the edge of a dark gray rock formation. This clever use of natural materials helped preserve the Nazca Lines for centuries, even though they were made with rocks and dirt. In the 1920s, when the lines were finally discovered, archaeologists feared the worst. With the lines now exposed to the elements and subject to the trampling of curious visitors, it seemed unlikely they would survive much longer. But thanks to protective measures put in place by the Peruvian government, the lines have been preserved for future generations to enjoy. Today, visitors can marvel at the Nazca Lines from a distance, but they are prohibited from entering the geoglyph area or touching the lines themselves. Thanks to these efforts, the Nazca Lines remain one of the most mysterious and fascinating archaeological sites in the world. Until the next pattern emerges, keep looking from a higher perspective. Do you think the Nazca Lines were an offering to the gods, a message to the stars, or something else entirely? Let us know your thoughts and stay tuned for more stories of discovery and exploration.